on. What's up, everybody? Evil laugh time. And the evil laugh. Can you kick in already?
Hey, baloy kulo naral.
Hey.
Uyayisaba second wave.
No, he's the safe one in the room here.
Kuthiwa ngumfonyo wobuso ngesixhosa. It's crazy. Yo, what's up, everybody? This is Pop Radio. It's our efforts to give you much more in-depth music news. We have segments on this show, like we start off the show with new music.
Yes, on the come up, we got to check out what's hot and happening on the streets of Mzansi, the new kids on the block, the people to look out for.
And then secondly, we have on the continent, me and Viji call it
African news.
African news.
But for real though, we've decided to also add this feature because Singabandu balape South Africa especially, we are always what can I say? We are always told to be people that take themselves outside of the continent. We think we're living in the States. As is Bandaganya, and we don't involve ourselves in the happenings of this continent. And mind you, the other countries kind of fare well when it comes to this music thing. So we have a whole lot more to learn from them. So we look at which artists are blowing up and not just in Lagos.
Yeah, and also just to also educate like the viewers out there to just to promote being Pan-African.
Thank you so much, Viji.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Spoken like a true dad at a continent. And then one of the things that is great about this show is that we have a guest. On POPcast, we sit there and we chew them up so many times and they never have anything to say. So on this show, it's nice that they can have answers to the questions that we have or the opinions that we have in our minds. Go on, Kazi.
And they were begging us for the past 2 seasons, like, you guys, you're always saying these things. Put me on so I can say my part. We're like, I know, that's the thing. If you're coming onto Pop Radio, you better talk what you've been wanting to talk. Okay?
Right?
Exactly. What can I...
One thing I can tell you, you're the hip-hop, but the hip-hop, but dog. Understand? The hip-hop, but dog. Hip-hop.
And then last but not least, to close it all up, we love seeing these kind of trivia and contests and shows, so we decided to put it on our show. So we have a little...
Are you
game
segment?
Yeah. Let's get quizzical.
So last week...
You guys were horrible.
Yeah.
Last week you guys didn't know.
Hey, don't put me in. Don't fight me in the mix.
Yeah, the quiz with Tabi, so...
No Ronald.
Yeah, no Ronald.
Yeah.
Uthi were horrible. So ukuthi wenzani kule veki because I'm putting her on the hot chair. Alright, cool. So first things first.
Yes.
Yeah.
What is first? Let's get onto the...
It's on the come up where we check out what's hot and happening with the new kids on the block. Of course, with this segment, the three of us all bring a single that we think is necessary for you to check out. The kids who are bubbling under and doing things and not necessarily getting the radio play or the streams or whatever the case is, but somebody that's caught our eye.
Yeah.
So we're obviously going to just run that through. VG, you're our music mogul.
Okay, cool. I've got 2 this week, right?
Yeah.
There's 2 artists that kind of stood out for me. Obviously, still young, still getting to know themselves, but I think it's worth the while for us to lend their ears.
You don't want to just put out one because you want to save them because maybe you'll run out of...
VG's always got artists. Don't worry about this guy. He's got a whole label, right?
So there's a kid called Rams, right?
Yeah. Not Una Rams.
No, not Una Rams.
Okay.
I think it's Rams.
Sure.
Right? And he's signed to Better Records or so. He put out an EP called He Say, She Say.
Yeah.
Right? Rapper, singer, very alternative as well vibe. The styling is on point. I do know the management is behind him. I do know that Diamond is the one who did the styling.
Very well.
Stylist.
Premium. Yeah.
As I want to kill it.
Sure.
So check out, it's like a 6-track EP or so. Not bad. You guys just vibe to it. Then there Must Be Dubs. There's a joint to drop.
Must Be Dubs. Coming with the fire. Check them out.
With
Yeah.
Yes.
I think Vera, that wave,
Yes.
Yeah, yenze uPenichile uyahlanya.
Of course.
Like uyahlanya penetration.
But what I dig about him is that he's also got that stage energy. Like,
He
you
does.
might not know his music, but because of his energy, you're like, okay, I need to get onto this one. What's happening with this tune?
It
Yeah.
reminds me of what Nerd used to be. Around Shane, Chad, Hugo.
So this goes back to what we were saying, that music, the whole change always comes back to, oh shit.
It's cyclical.
Yeah.
You know, life is cyclical. Everything inside of life, be it music or whatever it is, will be cyclical. And what I mean by that is, you know, in life, it can be how many so odd years. What you'll always get is summer, winter, autumn, spring.
Yeah.
The cycles keep coming back. No matter how the years change, when you go back or you go forward, no matter what the numbers say, you'll always only find these 4 cycles.
Yeah.
So it's the same way with music. Right now, we're getting that cycle coming back of alternative sounds, because I think people, firstly, were drummed to the New York gangster rap. Then it was conscious because of the gangsterism. And then after the conscious, it became, I fitsu. Let's just be drugful and eat pills and drink lean.
Crunk.
You understand? So now we're getting to I think a middle ground of all of those things.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's quite exciting to actually see how that music evolves, like you mentioned. And it's also dope how South Africans are also interpreting it into their own music, because the kids are about that. I really feel as though they're the ones who actually pay attention to what's happening in the world and see how they can fit that into South Africa.
Yes.
So that's one of the things that excites me about Benny Chill. So he's dope.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I've gave you guys my 2.
Yeah.
I'll let the viewers vote.
Oh, so
I
right,
give
man.
you guys the carpet match. So.
Remember,
I'm gonna win again this week. Hopefully.
whatever. So anyway, so we're gonna vote as to who is the best song for the episode, and of course we're gonna put up a poll as well. You'll be able to vote for that, and you can place your comments in the comment section as well for this video.
Vote for VG. I'll put you guys on.
You sound like the ANC.
I
dog.
mean, honestly, like
I'm not choice.
Baba way too.
I'm not choice.
Second person that I'm going to put up on this show today is a guy who is a singer, and his name is Munga K. MOONGAK. He also has an EP out. It's got an amazing sound. He's been bubbling under, getting his features. You know, once you do the television espresso, Oranje morning live, blah, 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 blah. Probably on your way up. So he's really doing some amazing work. He's a singer, not a rapper. And please do check him out.
I like that. I like checking out the vocalists, because I really feel like South Africa is very like Hayasun R&B. But the ones with the voices are the ones that give us the hottest music. So please.
But I think also it's how they sing. Like I was describing this to and I'm like, Chief, the singing is so 2002. Our Asha singing, I
Oh, if we mind.
don't think Ronnie can remember singing that time.
Feeling funny.
It just depends.
Funny.
For me, it just depends.
Imagine someone to be like, yo, I'm gonna beat it up.
Ooh, Fiji, you're Fiji.
It just depends. In the same way that like R&B music has made a comeback this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it started off with the ladies making that comeback. I think sooner or later it's gonna rub off to a guy who can marry a bit of the old with a bit of the new.
Well, even from a continent point, when I listen to the sound in Nigeria right now, it's gone back to like that Afrobeat or
Singing.
Fela Kuti, like that
Yeah.
sound. You know, it's there now. As well. That's the lane where you hear, I mind you, we're authentically home.
But also, when you're a vocalist, no one can deny your talent.
That's the other thing.
Because in raps, everyone's just like, that guy can't rap. He doesn't have the bars. Maybe he's got stage presence, but he's not the guy. Mokula, no one can say anything
Yeah.
because you're out here.
And also with the singing, no one forces singers to sing in any other language.
Exactly.
Everybody takes bawucula ngesingesi kuthiwa no sharp as long as une vocal. Bawucula ngesizulu no sharp. So I like that.
Yeah. Viji, please talk. All right, so you're saying his name is Munga?
Okay.
Munga K.
Munga K.
JR just stepped in the building, ladies and gentlemen. I need to hear some bars. JR, aka Chat. Oh, we should have some bright fly sound.
All right, so my artist that I've been checking out is a homie by the name of Jills. He dropped an EP, 9-track EP called The Boy Slept On, released by Blank Spaces. Really enjoying the music. I'd actually played his music, his single, before the EP dropped. He's got a song called Money Calling with his homie featured Vegas Caesar. Anyway,
is Jills the producer or?
He is a producer and an artist.
Okay, so Jills is the one who produced Casper movie.
I'm not too sure. I'll have to double check that.
Jills.
Okay, but I know like Jules is a really dope producer because I've actually heard some of his beats and stuff. So from that perspective, he's really awesome. I also think he's giving like just a nice new take to trap music. You know what I mean? And and like you're saying, the boy slept on, but I think he's got a nice fresh energy. So
Think he slept on?
I wouldn't say slept on because it's still early. So
Nigga, you want to come up, relax. Just because you want to come up, don't mean you slept on. Work a bit harder, nigga.
Relax. But I understand why he would put a title an EP like that because he might feel as though he's been grinding in the back for so long that he feels like he's been slept on. Like you mentioned,
nigga, you ain't grinding
he's been
enough.
producing. That's why we have the segments. Our snugs. Anyway, Jills, do your thing, my brother. I'm supporting you. The EP's out. Check it out. Yeah, you see, you blocked it. Yeah. Yeah, because you want it to be spicy. Yeah.
Okay, so those are the drops, guys. Please check them out. We will tell you which songs especially you want to check out. And then you can vote, drop your comments, and let us know if our ears are on the right track. Yeah. So, ears, music, track, issue. How drop it, bomb rap.
I think it's next week.
Rotating, you can be on the. You want to touch.
You have to come here.
He wants to push the buttons. That's why he wants to rotate.
Now by the time I get on these buttons, who can labo foot hack?
All right, cool. So let's segue onto our next segment.
Yes,
And
on
this-
the continent.
On the continent. And I want to really say that I'm proud of us for this segment. For real. After 14 years of doing this kind of work, it's very seldom that people throw themselves in areas that they are not well versed in.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's the key of renewing your energy in this shit is you always gotta throw yourself in uncomfortable zones. I'm struggling.
It's okay, but you know what? What I appreciate is that you are at least researching because I called Scoop actually checking out some of the videos before we started recording, you know?
I was on it.
Yeah.
I was on it. Guys, do we have an African, like what America has a billboard? I know that, do we have our own continental, an OAU type of billboard for our musicians, done by our people?
Nah.
Not just it.
You lie, dog.
But on Radio Monitor, you can still pull most radio stations throughout Africa. Even the whole world, actually, you can.
Okay. So as someone who's a normal person or someone not even a normal person, let's say I'm in broadcasting and I want to be able to pull that information. Ndingangena ku-Google okanye funeka be affiliated kuwe ku-Universal okanye Sony.
No. I think basically if you're on Radio Monitor, I think as a broadcaster, you should have all these tools where you should
Yes.
be able to find. And it's up to your services that should
Yeah.
create tools.
But you could also get some of that information on DSP. So like, you know how Spotify will give you some of that information. I don't think Apple Music has it as specific as Spotify does. But I think if you just want the information, you have to search for it, unfortunately.
Actually,
Yeah.
Apple Music has got it better than Spotify, I think.
Are they picking up now? Because they were slacking a bit.
They got charts. There's like a top 100 Botswana, top 100 Swaziland,
Okay.
top 100
Yes.
Nigeria,
Yeah.
top 100.
But I'm still wanting the one done by us.
Okay.
Okay.
Kubalulekile lezo
Faki
wenza
imali,
sithi.
siyabonga.
Is that our homework?
Faki
No,
imali.
you know what?
So we're not lazy. We'll
Aren't
do
you
that.
aren't you all over the continent, Vich?
Okay, so we're not lazy.
In my Universal, aren't you all over the
I'm all over the continent.
Don't you have like
I'll
auspices
plug you.
all over the continent?
I'll plug.
House
I'll
plug,
plug.
get dog.
I'll plug you guys.
House
I'll plug
plug,
you.
get dog. Kuzobangu. Game.
Let me start off.
Yes.
I picked up this rap crew. I think they are based in France.
Yes.
Obviously French speaking, but I think they do originate from Congo. Congolese crew. I don't know how to pronounce the name. It's Four Cause Gang or Four Kids Gang, or I don't know. But check out the music.
Yeah.
Trust me. It's
Or fuck
dope.
qua gang.
Ah, that could be
Fuck
it.
you gang.
Wow.
I mean, you can cast.
Yeah, could be
Please.
that scoop. Yeah.
Never know.
Check out those kids. I think it's 4 kids. Very energetic hip hop.
Nice.
streets, very young, so it's very like.
You know, I always wonder about whether groups are still going to work in this day and age, because I look at the likes of, for instance, Camp Mula. When they came out, everyone was like, "Yo, these kids are actually like hot and on fire." And then after that one single, it was like, okay, what's the vibe? Are they still out there? Are they still pushing? You know, they were the kids in Kenya who were like on the rise.
There's always our Beyonce. Okay.
It's tough with the group. It's really tough unless you've got like Migos blood-bound loyalty. That even then, some of the group members have to understand that they are not as talented as the Beyonce. It takes the leader to go, I will lead. Then it takes the other group members to go, we must allow ourselves to be led. Hopefully, the crumbs will fall on our laps as well.
Yeah.
But it's not gonna happen that everybody is going to ride the wave forever without the bond of loyalty in between the members, let alone talent or anything.
Yeah, that's so true.
You know?
I don't know, it's tricky. There'll always be one person who's stronger than the rest. You know
For
what I mean?
sure.
Yeah. All right, so the artist that I was checking out is an artist by the name of Alpha P. He's also from Nigeria. Dropping an EP very soon. He's got a single out called Quarantine. Chatted to him on radio. He's really, really awesome. And I think he's got a nice energy, a nice vibe about him. And it's fresh. And I think also just from a perspective of high level, or maybe let me say top 10 Nigerian artists, I think he's gonna start featuring in that top 10 because he's got like a good vibe about his music. Because typically, you know, when you say Afrobeats, it's always Davido, Burna Boy, Wizkid, that's it.
Showcase.
So it's nice to kind of see these other kids trying to take that claim, you know what I mean?
I'd also like to find out what happens to the stalwarts of Afro genre, like about Debanj, about Banky W, when they get older. What happens to them in Nigeria and how do they...
Bank wasn't he like in presidential office or something?
Yeah, I think he was in politics. Or they get into production, they get into owning labels, you know? Yeah, so I think they do the next step. As usual, that's what happens when it comes to music.
No doubt.
Shout out for the Alpha P.
Yeah.
I know the EP it's called Wolf the Mustang, if I'm correct. And it's that lead, it's that new school lead, the wave that's happening in Nigeria right now, where you look at the likes of our Rema, about Fireboy, you know, it's those kids that are coming up. So which is dope. Shout out, man.
Yeah.
Another thing that might be surprising to a lot of people is how big our music is on that side. And a lot of artists from home, when they think touring, they never think the continent. They think outside.
Yeah.
But they really, really should consider the Tanzania, the Kenya, which is Nairobi is apparently one of the party capitals of the flipping continent right now. So Zitingen is in Malawi.
Please.
Can I tell you? I think a lot of our artists need to invest back and start traveling.
Yes.
For sure.
They need to say, you know what, I'm going to pay for my own trip and go do promo in Nairobi.
And don't just travel because you're booked at a place. And if you are booked at a place that's foreign, take some 2 days off to learn the place. Go meet radio stations, shake the hands of station managers, meet people who do gigs there. I always didn't understand sometimes how artists could just come to a place and then I understand that you got your gigs and you got to leave, but sometimes like take in different surroundings because it also helps creatively with your videos and your music and your sound.
Definitely, the relationships are important, and also you get a feeling of the place so that you can also speak about it in your music at a later stage. So you can also kind of broaden your experiences, and you know what I mean. Kind of plug that in,
It kind of reminds me of Cool Cat, what he did for Uyashu, where he's actually rapping about like he's got some Nigerian.
Yeah,
he mentioned
because he went there.
Because he went there.
Yeah.
Cool. And yours?
He said at the beginning, he gave a disclaimer. I'd say, "Angenzange homework, but I'll be back."
I'm still dribbling with my right hand. I'll dribble with my left hand real soon. And right now, let's go into our guest who's traveled a long way to be with us. Thank you so much, JR. Would you please come join us up here in the seats, brother, and let's fry you with some questions. VG's got an awesome intro track right here. VG, I cue you on this one, bro.
Yeah.
Do you still perform this?
Let's perform. That's the question.
That is a damn question.
One thing I can tell you, you're the hip-hop, but you're hip-hop, dog. Understand?
That's the question.
You're hip-hop, dog. Hip-hop.
JJ, we're not going to go back to your musical history. I'm more interested. I don't know about my other partners on the show, but I'm really interested in the post-music history. You know what I mean? When we talk about your performances, when we talk about the work that you've done as a musician, Sharp Grand, you guys can Google that. For me, I distinctly remember you not saying it, but really making a move to do for musicians behind the scenes. Personally, first, it started with you personally, and then it stretched out to other musicians where you are at this position that you are at now. What exactly does JJ do right now?
Well, that's kind of like for the first time in my life. That's the easiest question to ever answer.
What?
Because for the longest time, it's been like, no, I'm not a rapper. I'm a musician. And blah blah. And I'm trying to justify it, but I think now it's a safer time to say that I'm a creative entrepreneur. Like, I run a creative agency. I'm a chief creative at my own creative agency that I started in 2017, and that is my day to day. That is what I wake up and do.
I think you deserve a bomb. Creative agency. All right?
Agency.
Yeah.
And in his spare time, he also plays Black Panther for his son when he needs to. You know, jumps into the soup.
It's still early. I thought we'd be waiting like.
Were you like in the picture, huh?
We're gonna get straight into it, my brother.
I thought we'd wait until
No, you want me to marinate you? We don't have time.
No, I mean, yeah, because you guys are running late. I was here at 8.
What's your creative
Like a
agency
professional.
called?
It's called The Good Group South Africa.
Nice.
So the one thing, Feel Good Music is my record label, and people will also know Feel Good Live Sessions. And,
Yes.
so everything of mine has to have good in it, because one, I've always said to companies that we'd go up against that we're as good as the other guys. But two, we're better than good enough at what we do. So it's so good has always been something that's there. And I guess in the business, the mantra is always is good is like where we are, but great is where we strive to be.
Sure.
So it's always a mantra. Like when I started Feel Good Music, I always said music doesn't have to be good. It doesn't have to sound good, but it always has to feel good. Because what happened, the kind of music that was playing in the 70s and 60s, when our parents listen to what we're playing right now, they say, this thing doesn't sound good. Get rubbish, It doesn't have to sound good. It just has to feel good. When you listen to what our parents were listening to in the 70s and 60s, it doesn't have to sound good. It won't sound good because there's no mastering session. It won't, but it will feel good. It will feel a certain way to extent where young guys will sample it or whatever. And that was always been the mantra of my life. And hence my companies will always have the word good in it. Well, like 2 of them will have the word good in it.
Showcase.
Yeah.
And then, so the Feel Good series, I think, was one of those
Sessions.
My bad. I'm sorry.
Series is what happens in Bram somewhere.
Yes, you're right.
This is what happens in the landscapes of the north.
Manje, copyright?
You know what? So
I wasn't going to go into that question, but you brought me there.
But look, realistically speaking, I spoke to Nandi, and if she was a big corporation or a multinational, we'd definitely be having conversations. But I was like, let's be realistic, at the end of the day, she's a black woman trying to do her thing or doing her thing, you know, and it wouldn't be right for me to say, but what are you doing? So I got on a call her and said, look, man, how do we deal with this? And she was like, we're an event. We're not a media property, and I said, we're a media property. Another thing is like, we were making like so much more revenue than she was that it was going to be purely bullying from our perspective to go in and say, we want this, because honestly speaking, we were looking at it from like a TV perspective, like we're a media property. We're on television, we do millions of numbers on digital. We wouldn't be going up against that and trying to crush another black person. More specifically a black woman who's representing, it wouldn't be good. So then I ended up saying, you know what, it's cool. You do your thing and then we'll do ours and we'll build our brand separately. And so far, so good. No one confuses the two. Everybody knows what it's about. And I guess that's what happens when black people get on the phone and actually talk things out like adults.
True that.
And not beef it out.
Yeah.
Hey, that's why you left hip hop. Okay, so with the Feel Good sessions, the Feel Good sessions, I think, was a really awesome property that you had put together, obviously, to also listen to the music in a different light. Because I think in 2020, people didn't appreciate acoustics as much as they were supposed to. What was your end goal intention for the show? Because now, while you did take it to a commercial TV station, are you going to branch out a little bit more, or are you done with it?
I think I always say, I have a lot of sayings. I think I'm a
Yeah, you
philosopher
coin a
of
lot
some
of sayings, bro.
Yeah,
Was that a
yeah.
book, Papa,
Like
Coin a lot
supervision
of
and
sayings.
control, and that's me. So, but what my thing is, but we always plan with the end goal. When we sit and we look at these things, and I say we because there's people who help. You understand what I mean? I won't say I, but when I sit and I think of something like, okay, let me do a feel good, or let me do this, or let me do that, it's always a question of like, what do I want? What SJR? Like, and people will say it's a very stupid thing to say in a bigger business scheme, like of things.
Following your instincts.
Yeah, like
instead of thinking about the masses.
From a music perspective, I'll always be like, to every artist I work with, it's 80%, the public, it's 20% yourself. See, when you're sitting in your bedroom and you're making music, for yourself, you can do what you want. But the minute you want to commercialize and sell records, something's got to give.
Yeah.
There's got to be some sacrifice. And guys will be like, yeah, but what about J. Cole? Yeah, but what about whoever? And I say, count them. And they'll say, count them. And they'll have 5. I said, you're counting 5 artists out of an industry of 5,000 number 1 artists in the world. You're counting 5. That's an anomaly. You can't base yourself on an anomaly. You work the system the way it is, and then you will come out an anomaly. So when I look at like where we wanted to go with Feel Good, it was never about like being the number 1, what. No, it was that I wanted to perform live. I love performing. I'm a performance artist. I hate studio. If I could, I would skip studio and then go straight to perform my records, and everybody knows them. So with Feel Good, that gave me a platform to do that. Because I know how great of a performing artist I am. So for me, it was like for those who are not fortunate enough to see me perform, you can actually stream me perform,
Nice.
And again, I was working on an album, and I decided to take about 8 months out to work on this album and stop doing shows. So while I was recording What a Life, I think it was What a Life. While I was recording What a Life, we had and then Source came out, and between Source and Vibin was quite a big span, you know what I mean? But there was recording, and there wasn't a lot of performances. So after Vibin came out, I was like, no more. You know what I mean? And that was the second time in my life where I did something like that. I was like, I just want to focus on making this album. Because if I dedicate myself to performing and whatever, I won't get into it. But my crowd needed to stay in tune. I still needed to communicate. So this was the platform I could create to communicate. So the first 2 episodes are myself performing. It was just going to be me for about 6, 7 episodes until I could buy myself enough time to be able to release this music.
It was a smoke screening it out.
Yeah, and one of the guys who was shooting it said, dude, what if we bring on different guys every week?
Yeah. And that was
because they were bored of you after episode 2.
No,
they were like,
it wasn't even, I don't think it was that. It's just like a brain spark. It's just like,
I'm joking.
I wanted to invite my industry friends to come and perform. But for me, it was never like a business thing. It was just like, I'll perform one of my records, and if whoever's on it, and then they can come on and perform it with me, but it'll be my show. And then, obviously the twist came, and that's how it became what it was. But it was always a platform or an outlet to communicate with fans.
How much of you being an artist, walking that road, has informed and helped the choice in career that you are in right now?
Okay, I've learned this in my many years of being media trained. Sorry, can you please repeat that question? Because any other artist would have answered it. So if you're not sure, can you please ask that question again, Chair, Mr. Zondo? Can you just...
Does Mr. Zondo remember the question?
Mr. Zondo.
JR. So ngiyakwazi ukuthi ungumuntu that whenever you walk through certain spaces in life, you're a guy that is always taking notes. Either from conversations or from situations. Ungumuntu osoloko ubhala notes phansi. So ngoku, I deduce that being an artist, the way you were an artist, you noticed some things. So I'm asking you, how much of you being that artist the way you were helped you in starting off leshandiswe iqalayo ngoku? Ngokuba it's very few times where things like this are headed by an artist. Normally, it's someone who's just seeing it from the outside and has never touched music. You know, you have had the ability to walk successfully in the music road, not just yourself, but also churned out sounds that were very popular for other musicians. And then you said, that's you know, I'm gonna go boardroom to studio. So how much of you being an artist helped you in this road?
I mean, everything. Like I said, I'm a creative entrepreneur. Like, you know, everybody speaks about the fourth industrial revolution and, you know, and no one can really tell you what a 4IR is or whatever. But generally, essentially what a 4IR is the age of the creator. You know, that's what it is. It's an age where 8 out of 10 people will create things and won't go to work for people who've created things. So 2 out of 10 people at some point were creators. Now 8 out of 10 people are creators.
And
that's what it is.
You've just changed it because a lot of people are like, and I guess it is true because Abandaba needs to say that the fourth industrial revolution is information.
Yeah.
The more information you have, the more you realize, well, I can do this by myself.
100%. Because, I mean, we used to be part of the information age, right? And then we passed the information age. Now we're into the creative age. We're into like where people are actually making physical things. You know what I mean? People are making cars. People are like a car like Tesla. Like, it's not a General Motors, brother. You know what I mean? It's not a Mercedes Benz. It's a guy. It's a guy who is sitting. I want to create a car. I'm tired of paying for petrol and I want to create this thing.
And that's Uber, eh?
You understand? Maybe not Uber. You understand what I mean? But
Who, Elon Musk?
yeah, definitely. I mean, he did that interview where he was smoking weed. But I'm just saying, like, this is where we are. You understand what I mean? And in doing that, we've now moved along from just being like people who go to work to being creators. Because every industry was always based on people slaving away to a master who would then pay them salaries. And now people are creating their own parts, right?
Yes.
And that was my mentality. My mentality was like, I've always wanted to create my own path, you know?
Yes.
And I get that from my mother, who's a very like solid independent thinker, you know, who was like, you love Michael Jackson, you love to sing, you're going to go to an art school, you're going to study this, you're going to study vocals, you're going to study piano or whatever. And, you know, like, she was that kind of person. We're not like, you're going to go study medicine or whatever. You're going to study this and you're going to be successful at it. You know what I mean? Because as much as a medicine student can study sciences and whatever and be successful at medicine, what's stopping an art student from studying arts and creative and be great at it?
That's so beautiful to hear.
My dad is a great guy, but he didn't really care much about what school I went to. You know what I mean? I think he was just more worried about the bills or something. You know?
As most black men are.
So he was more like, dude, you know, whatever school you're at,
I just passed.
get off you're busy. Get out Pitora Square.
Yeah.
So that was what it was. So I think going into that, to answer your question, that was my mentality. My mentality was just about like, I'm a creative either way. I make music. You know what I mean? And then there was a gap in the market for companies or brands or corporations that did not understand the synergies between a product and music. I mean, you know, at that point in time, we had negotiated what was then the biggest sync deal, you know, in South Africa, to come out of South Africa with Vodacom.
Straight up.
You know, and I was part of those conversations, which were both advertising and also corporate conversations.
Sorry to cut you off, but do you think now, when you're coming now as the person you are, right, you probably know what your worth is, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel like the corporate has opened up even better for you, or now they are like shying away because maybe JR knows a bit too much?
No, I mean, if anything, I'm an ally.
Yeah.
If anything, you want to license a vocalistic song and you want to pay 5 million rand for it, and it's not worth 5 million.
Ha! What are you taking from his pockets?
No, I'm just saying, look, that's just an example. For, you know, like, it could be anybody. Like, let's use JR for an example. You want to license a JR song, you want to pay 5 million for it, it's not worth 5 million. You understand what I mean? What is the worth of a song? You know, we look at spins, we look at publishing, you know, we look at all of those things, and we look at reach, and we say, okay, fine, if this song is being played on X amount of radio stations, it's generating X amount, it's been on these many playlists, it's generating X amount of streams, and the publishing is worth, actually, this then brings the publishing to X amount, because that's how you would then work out your publishing.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean? Because you can't work out publishing value based on who's on the song. You could have Drake write on the song. It doesn't mean the song's worth anything in publishing value.
Very true.
Could be worth zero.
Very true.
You know?
So true.
But the minute the song gets worked, the minute the song gets marketed, the minute the song goes out there, gets played on radio, whatever, it creates value.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean? And therefore, you can then deduce the value of the song or the publishing to the value of the song. So, those kinds of things. And when I sit in like those meetings and I'm like, okay, fine, we can pay JR 5 million rand, or we can pay him 1.5. And that is fair.
So your company is the middleman.
No. We're not a middleman.
Okay.
We're not a middleman.
Yeah,
I'm
outline.
answering VG.
Showcase.
I don't think businesses would shy away from what we do.
Yeah.
They would see us as an ally.
Yeah.
Not necessarily as in like, that's what we do. We don't do that. We're a creative agency. We write strategies from beginning to end. You know what
amazing.
I mean? We ideate, and we execute,
That's amazing.
So for us, it's like the music part or whatever would be a small part of it. You know what I mean?
Black-owned, right?
Sorry?
Go on a little-
Yeah, we're black-owned business. It's myself and my partner, Brix Kaslam.
Nice.
One thing I can tell you, you're the hip hop, but you're hip hop, dog.
That's hip hop right there.
Yeah, so
Hip hop, but
that's
dog.
where we are.
Hip
So
hop.
dope. So Jay, obviously from when you got onto the scene and no kgatale rona, and then you got to a point where you decided to then say, okay, how do I expand this music thing? And then you got into artist, I don't know what to call it. It's not management, but you were composing, you were curating, you were trying to work with raw talent, and obviously it got to a point where you were like, "Hey, I don't know if I can do this thing anymore," because artists are artists.
And actually, he actually discovered, you actually managed one, like, 3
Two
or
artists.
4, no, 5. I think it's Shane,
Shane Eagle, Younger, Chief.
A1 Wolf.
That's big people.
Flabber, and who am I missing, Papa?
That's crazy.
So Jay had signed these people before they took all the way off.
That's crazy.
So with those artists, and obviously that was your direction that you were taking, and music has always been your passion. Why did you steer away from working with musicians directly?
No, it's not even that. It's a costly exercise. It's honestly expensive. And I mean, you've got to respect the independent labels that actually break their back to break artists. It's a costly exercise, and artists want what they want. And it's look, I'm sitting with contracts at the moment that are not signed, by artists whose music we released, and we're sitting with money. We say, but where do we pay this money? How much do we pay this money? You understand what I mean? Because of that, it's like, if we're gonna talk business, let's take business all the way. You understand what I mean? It mustn't be fun times because you're with Jay in studio and we're creating a hit. You know what I mean? You get with me in studio, like, we can shop for cash, like, really deliver something fire. We can do that. But what happens after that? In a business where they deliver products and you deal with like selling fresh goods or whatever, they call it aftercare or
After sales.
After sales,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
You understand? What happens after we have fun in studio? What's the after sales like? You know what I mean? We need to manage that process, and no one wants to be there.
We're in the club, popping bottles.
The artist is on tour. Not even popping bottles, because the artist is doing shows. The artist is making money. No, they're making money from live gigs.
Yeah.
You're gonna give me this measly 20,000? Understand? From streams. My brother, I'm doing 20,000 a night. I mean, or a show. So
I got 3 a night.
And 3 a night. So for me, it boils down to that. Is that it's an expensive exercise, and we're in it together. You know what I mean? Our deals like have always been very like we don't. I pride myself in saying I don't hold an artist to where he doesn't want to be.
Okay.
So if Younger wants to leave Feel Good Music, he's more than welcome to go. You understand what I mean?
Well, it makes sense because
So,
he'll probably give you a shit album.
You'd never want to work with an
Wow,
artist.
Vigi?
No, but honestly,
it's fine.
he means any artist. If you keep someone where they don't want to be,
Oh, I hear you. Okay.
killing
they're
the
not going to
vibe.
give
From
you
the
the best of
energy
them.
and the
Even
vibe, okay.
relationships, even everything. If you keep someone where they don't want to be, they won't give you the best of them.
Yeah, that's
You understand what I mean? So everybody needs to be happy. So I'm sitting here, I'm saying, oh, okay, yeah, sharp, but where do you want to be? No, I want to go. I'm going to say go. Because the project that at Feel Good Music, our principle is the project we want the most is always the first. After that, you're more than welcome. And people say, yeah, but you set this guy up to do great and big things. But you know
That's
what?
the goal.
it's what you brew, and VJ always speaks about it. You then brew catalog because that is what you want. The first album is always the gold, you know. So people go out there and do their own albums and whatever. You know what I mean? If you look at, I won't mention names, but guys will go out there and record music and whatever. And the first album is always the gold.
Yeah.
And then you find that when people play that, and then the algorithm will make a suggestion. Oh, listen to this, understand? And people who've listened to this have also listened to this. And then people are like, but you know who I miss? I miss the old JR. Khatalina. And therefore, that's what the new albums do, is they resuscitate the catalog.
Yeah.
Sure.
So when you're sitting in a feel-good music position and guys have left, you know, the label, and then, you know, after, and the things like guys don't even like come back and say, hey man, thank you, boss. I can't remember one guy who I've helped and worked with who's ever come back and say, my brother.
Are you cool with any of the artists that you're
I'm cool with?
He's cool with
I'm
Younger,
cool
aren't
with
you?
Younger.
Yeah.
I'm cool with A1 Wolf. We're very cool. We actually do.
Everyone's doing big things.
Actually, no, I'm lying. I'm lying. Arnold is the only artist who's ever thanked me in both our lives.
Sounds
Arnold
like
is
him.
the only guy who's ever like spoken to me and said, Jay, thank you very much. Because if it
Sounds
wasn't
exactly
for
like
you, I wouldn't have had a career.
Sure.
You understand what I mean? We were doing what we were doing as Silverback, you know. But until we became Skyrock Nation, until we became A1 Wolf and Luke Skyrocker, we then became, you know, the fusing of pop samples and pop chords and progressions into hip hop music, you know, doing what Eminem was doing with Skylar Grey and whatever, but natively pushing it more to even what a Machine Gun Kelly would be doing now, you know, to rock extents and whatever, you know. If it wasn't for that, because artists don't realize that when a guy like myself is sitting and I'm listening to Younger and he's rapping Party Karate with Nota, and they're doing Party Karate, which was their single that they dropped.
Oh, I remember that song.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And Younger was all English, right?
Yeah.
All English. And I was sitting with Younger at that point, who was staying like at my house, you know. Him and Nota stayed with me, I think, for about 8 months or so, you know, almost a year. And me and Younger were recording. So before even we got to record, it was like, bro, we need to find the style.
Yeah.
The angle.
Because
the Xhosa's not going to work. The niche voice. The English is not going to work. I said, you need to do the Xhosa. Younger said, you're going to make me another iFunny. I said, no. I said, no. He said, yeah, you're going to make me a joke. Xhosa is fun. I said, my brother.
But that's why he
Don't
came to
look at-
Joburg. He came to Joburg to be the Xhosa rapper.
You understand?
And then I find
Maybe he just came to be a rapper.
No, I think Ifani is the one who deterred the direction.
Yeah, it's
then
possible.
It was humorous.
Because when you see it and then you're like, now I must follow this route.
No,
I
but
don't know.
you know, even at that, like, you know, it took Younger a while to actually get to write a verse in Xhosa. You know, I've got songs, Kayanga, you know what I mean? That, you know, with his permission, we can hopefully maybe share someday, one day, you know? But where he's actually like full English and moving and changing into Xhosa, like you see that, you listen and hear the evolution.
Yes.
You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
And we're sitting there. I mean, even Autiam, you know, Autiam, like, you know, that's a chorus that I was like, dude, where are you? I've laced this, come and record this thing. You understand? Because that's gonna be who you like. I see this as being you. Like your introduction is gonna be a Xhosa rapper who's coming out with a nice, funky, like Kwaito situation, but handling bars, English Xhosa bars. So it takes time to get to that level. You understand what I mean? It took us about maybe 6 months to get to a level of comfortability. That is you injecting money or whatever. You're not even getting anything out. You haven't even released a single thing. It's an incubation
for 8
period.
months.
That's a development period. Yeah.
How I wouldn't say stressful, but how challenging are the times for you when you can see what an artist could be if they could just trust you? But we having to get through that barrier of Mfana, just trust me.
Just come on, my brother.
How do you eventually then win that artist over? Because even if they won't say it to you, it's evident that they've listened. Even if they won't say it to you, but how do you think you managed to get them over that hurdle of Mfana, awungithembe ntwana.
But I think it's gotten to that point, eh?
That's what I'm saying.
No,
I think it's
asking,
happened.
like-
It definitely happened.
It's definitely.
But it doesn't happen when he says it.
Okay.
And then you see it and you're like,
Why couldn't you just?
When
This is what you know what I mean? So this is what I'm saying.
like honestly, dog, it gets.
And how do you resolve, Jay? Sorry, Jay, to cut you off, because sometimes, like we're saying, these artists are like, nah, and you still have to go home knowing that if this nigga could just trust me tomorrow, we'd be out of the trenches.
Okay, so you get guys like Beyond Vocal, all right?
Yeah.
Who trusted me with their lives.
Yeah.
You understand what they said? Like, dude, this is what we're gonna do. You know, like we're gonna trust you with our lives. And you know, and you're sitting with an a cappella group who obviously sound amazing live, right? But you need to write a record that is now going to playlist on radio.
Yeah.
Because remember, radio doesn't play what doesn't have beat, and radio doesn't play what doesn't have vocal.
Yeah.
That's how radio works. So I don't know if everybody out there knows, but that's how
why a lot of Gom songs have a radio remix.
a radio remix, because you know radio doesn't play one without the other.
Well, actually not Gom, it's actually house. Like there's a lot of house songs that do that,
So when we released the Beyond Vocal song, and that's what eventually got them signed to Universal. That's what eventually got Sipho to say to me, dude, we want these guys. You know, they're under contract, but we're willing to talk, you know? Was that, you know, Feel Good Music could get guys like Beyond Vocal to play on Metro FM, Ukozi, and whatever. A cappella, which only at the time was only known the Soil was doing.
That's crazy.
You understand what I mean? So you look at a guy like JR who's doing this, you're like, how is he doing this? You understand what I mean? No, but if you want to know how I'm doing it, then you come to the source and we sit down and I give you what will then become the formula.
Showcase.
You know? So when you meet guys like Beyond Vocal who actually trust you like that, it makes it so much easier. You know? But when guys don't and then something happens for them, because eventually how the universe works is like things are moving like this with the universe. And somewhere, somehow, they're going to do that.
True that.
And that is what opportunity meets
Chance.
what?
Preparation.
Preparation meets opportunity.
Opportunity, yes.
It's going to happen for everybody.
Showcase.
So just because it didn't happen with Yanga, Yanga's a bad example because it did. If it didn't happen with
anyone else,
Skyrock Nation, for instance, where it only happened for A1, you know, it doesn't mean it's not going to happen for Tuko.
It could happen. It's still coming.
It's definitely gonna because he's very talented.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean? And then it's gonna get to a point where it happens. You know, and that's why you got like, but this guy's not, why is it only happening to him when he's 38? You know, that's when you ask yourself, that's the universe.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean? You can try and align things so that the universe can cut a little bit.
but it skips you all the time. And when you try to align, it skips you the whole time, dog.
So I guess sometimes I just look at it and be like, it's the universe. It's doing what it's doing. You know what I mean? It's not me who's helping these guys out. It's actually like, it's God who's helping these guys out. Like, I'm also like, I'm a vessel. I've been, you know, sent to, I've always said that I know what my place is in the world. And therefore, I'll always be okay with what it is that I do.
Straight up.
And
You understand?
Do you think knowing your place, Papa, like, because I think you're an incredible songwriter.
I was about to
Thank
ask
you very much. I think so too.
Go for Shama's effect, Lapo.
Brother, I think I'm such an amazing songwriter.
You are, dog.
I think I'm such an amazing songwriter that now, actually, at whatever time this is, because we don't know whatever time this is, I was actually speaking to my boy Arrow Benjamin, and we're writing records together, and we've already wrote 2 records together. And
Nice.
Arrow Benjamin wrote Freedom Beyonce. He wrote, you understand what I mean? That's how you know. You understand what I mean?
Could you give us a list of some of the stuff you've written, Papa?
No, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
This is-
because
this is my question.
the reason is like you don't want to take away from
the
what
artist.
the artist has done, because you also realize it's a sensitive. You see, if I was a selfish guy, I would be like, yeah, I wrote this and I wrote that, and let me tell you something. This guy didn't know. That's their record. You understand what? It's got nothing to do with me. I was there to do a job which I did, and I left.
But I also think I don't think it takes too much away from the artist, because at the end of the day, as much as it's your words, they still have to perform it. They still have to interpret the melodies. They still, don't they?
Oh well, I mean,
There's
look,
guide melodies.
Get in
there's
your
guide
it is.
vocals.
Look, it is what it is. Like essentially, like what matters with songwriting, most importantly, is I think for me is the words.
Yeah.
You know, the words matter more than anything else, and then the melodies and whatever can follow suit. So if the artist resonates with the words, and sometimes, you know, like back to what Scoop was saying, artists don't see it. You know what I mean? Until you do it, and then it's like, oh, I should have done that record. You know what I mean? Like I should have featured on it. You know, for instance, like Mame was written by myself and Yanga for Java. You understand what I mean? Java actually, like Yanga actually wrote the lyrics, and then I then progressed with the melodies and everything, and I then sang it as a guide vocal. Which it wasn't even supposed to be. It wasn't even supposed to be myself on the record. I was actually like surprised when I heard it on the record, and I was 50% pissed off because, that's my vocal on the record, which wasn't my best vocal, which doesn't have harmonies, which wasn't engineered the way I wanted.
You could have gone back and recorded.
I could have, had I known that Java wouldn't be able to make it. But I know that Java wanted to write the record. It's not like he didn't want to be on the record. He wanted to ride on the record. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, something happened between him and Keenan. I don't know, whatever the conversations were. But, when you, something like that, the words for me happen like to be more important.
So do you think we are at a point in SA where we can, encompass, like we can welcome songwriters? Because I feel like...
No, you guys can't. Because you don't value them.
Thank you. Okay.
You don't value
is it
songwriters.
the artists not valuing them or the fans? The fans actually don't care.
It's the entire industry. Yeah. The industry doesn't value songwriters. It just doesn't. And you look at guys like Drake, you look at guys like Rihanna, you look at guys like Jay-Z, you look at guys like Dr. Dre, Snoop, Beyonce is even worse. You understand what I mean? You look at all of those people, the greatest artists in the world have the best songwriters.
Yeah.
Adele.
Adele. Adele is a great writer herself, but she's got writers. Sam Smith, for me, is one of the best writers that I know. He's got writers.
Sure.
So who the fuck are you from?
I'm from Guatemala. You don't want a songwriter.
Who are you to not want a fucking songwriter? Who are you? Dog, I'm not sitting here trying to be famous. You understand? I'm a purist. All I want to do is write the best melodies. Like Noni was asking, what were you doing today? I said, I've got a vibe that I love. I'm a purist. And I think there might be something there, but I won't know until I have recorded it.
Yeah.
So I've written it, but until I've recorded it, I don't know. So that's the thing.
Is that one of our problems? Or let me not say is that one of our problems. Do you feel like, what do you feel about our sound right now from someone who's churned out our sound in various
genres
and also very like moments in SA music? You've churned out our sound, and where you see us right now, when you're in the boardroom and switching on your TV or going into your car and you're like, damn, like,
what is?
It's 2020, we here? Or is it, damn, it's 2020, I'm so glad we're here, sound-wise, and even music-wise, like, especially from a purist and a person like you, who's been deep in the stew pots of umculo. Yes, Mzansi. How do you feel about our shit right now?
Look, I feel there's so much more that we can do as South Africans. I feel like, the streaming age and the hype beast age has watered down every single industry in the world. Music industry, I should say, music sector in the world, not just ours, So we can't, it's not unique to us. We can't look at us and say like, oh, well, their sound is diluted. They don't know where they are. Because if you look at, there's guys in LA now who are doing grime music, or in New York, which is a London thing. So it's diluting their scene because honestly speaking, it's not theirs.
The drill thing is from the UK, isn't
the drill.
it?
Yeah, it's from the UK.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm speaking of. Yeah, this is the drill, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the drill, sorry.
Wow.
Yeah, Pop Smoke in them. I've never heard a Pop Smoke. The first time I heard a Pop Smoke song was the first one he released. Yeah, Dio.
Yeah. Welcome to the party. No, welcome to the party.
Welcome to the party.
I know Dio.
Okay.
Wine, man.
Yeah, it's the same thing. The second one is this one that's got Lil Baby. That's my favorite Pop Smoke song.
Okay.
That's my favorite. First one.
You don't like the one featuring 50 Cent?
Oh, yeah. I love, and Roddy Ricch. I love, so I know 3 Pop Smoke songs.
Okay, cool.
So I feel like everybody's just jumping to the lowest hanging fruit.
Yeah.
That's what the whole industry is doing. Like,
but do you feel that happens everywhere?
So we don't. It's not. Sorry, to answer Scoop, it's not unique.
Showcase.
It's not unique to us that we don't have an identifiable sound. It's
all over the world.
It's all over the world.
Yeah.
The whole world doesn't. K-pop has lost its way as well. Like,
it was hot for 2 minutes.
It was hot for 2 minutes, and then you get those guys who are topping the charts.
BTS.
BTS. You know what I mean? And they were like, also, that's not really a
So do you think maybe it's the culture of every week there's something new? Every
It's just too many records.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just too
and Luena Wana
records.
Pitori and how the Yanos is just taken over.
Come on.
Yeah.
You know, obviously it resonates with you because you wanna kasi and you want to be within, but then you're also just like, hip hop is just, you know, why are you not taking the spear and running with it and you're allowing these genres? Do you think it's a seasonal thing or do you think it's
a
just
cycle. Everything has a cycle. You understand what I mean? Like you can't always, and I think that question is very unfair. You know, Cosmo. I think you'd rather
it's
maybe
because everybody asks it. So
everybody, but everybody should understand
okay.
that it's a cycle. Everything is a cycle. There was a point where R&B in South Africa was the biggest thing. Ntokozo, what?
Platinum
You name them.
stars.
Hey, Munna. You understand? You name it. It was the biggest, and then it
And
died.
Afrobeats was nowhere.
And then it died flat. Ne? And then what's happening now? And then 2 years ago,
Elaine's
we
coming.
got R&B again. We got the likes of Elaine. We got
Jordan
that. All that. You understand?
Bayabuya.
Between them and Ntokozo is a 20-year span. This thing is a cycle. It might be another 20 years till hip hop is on top. So what?
Showcase.
It's a cycle. I mean, it is what it is. What's that? Everywhere, tom tom tom. The dance music, electronic
Yeah, the
music.
EDM vibes.
You remember what it was doing? It was punishing us.
Even Deleuze made like an electro song,
Munna,
remember?
Hey, now it's dead. You understand? But who says it won't come back in 5 years?
That's true.
That's true.
You understand?
JR, just to close it off with our interview
Ah,
segment.
boo.
Oh, we don't have time. We could sit here the whole day with you.
I think it would be a disservice to the people and the kids and the artists, not just kids alone. There's many artists that are going to be watching the show because they know and are well versed with your contribution, not just achievements alone, but your contribution to this railroad of South African music and not just hip hop as well. So, bengicela nje fethu ukhulume about forecasting what the next season the artists should be doing to make sure that they capitalize on the way the world is moving.
Well, if I told them that, then I'm going to have to invoice them.
Consultant fee, my brother.
And that is the truth. That is the truth. Because the reason any business want to work with feel-good music is because we're very good at predicting the future. We're very good at carving sounds that are going to change the future.
Okay, let's just say this then. How can artists get a hold of you? And is it an artist having to get a hold of you, or do you get a hold of artists?
If there's someone hot, I'm pretty sure, like, I will know. If there's,
I remember when you heard Jobe, he actually went in.
Yeah, like, if there's someone hot, like, for me, it's like, it's one thing to hear something, but put your money where your mouth is.
Sure.
Like, we all hear hot artists every day, but are you willing to put 50, 100,000 on that artist and sacrifice 200, 300,000? If you're not, then walk away.
Yeah.
Essentially, money talks. You know, there's hot artists every day, Joe, who are walking the streets of Johannesburg every single day. They need money. Are you willing to put the money behind them? Yes, VG is working for a big record label. You understand what I mean? Is he willing to put money behind them?
Say what? so just to also with the Jobe thing, it was almost like an urban legend in the streets of JR is there. JR. Like, can you just tell us that story and how that transpired with the song?
I think we've shot a video for it. I think look, everybody knows the story of Jobe. And if they don't, then I guess they're not on social media, because from Jobe, it birthed Kamumpela, you know what I mean, etc. Jobe's, you know, and Mpo 69 actually, who produced the song, has co-composed Dalez's new record, Elon Musk.
Elon Musk, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So, you know, so for me, it's like, those are the strides that you see. It's either you want to have a job or you want to build a career. So if you want to have a job, you can release a song and then go and gig every day. And if you want to have a career, if you want to be known for something in the next 15 years, these are the little things that you do that strategically position you. So I think with Jobe, it was exactly that. He put out a song. His song was already out. Sugan Delini was already out, flooding the streets of Soweto. but it hadn't reached mass appeal. It was just in Soweto. Specific people had it. And then Kamwe and her friend did a video.
The video. Where's the other girl who was in the video?
She must ask. I think Kamwe like.
So come on, Palestine as a video.
No, she wasn't. It was a promo video.
It was a promo video.
Yeah,
One of those where you shoot at home.
Yes. They were shooting in the car.
It's UGC.
And they were.
It's UGC. I just think like she liked the song. They were like, "Yo, catch us today, whatever. Jobber's party's coming next week, whatever." And that was Jobber's song. And I heard the record and I was like, okay, cool. Like, and then I think it was Rich or someone, whoever, and said, yo, we can go, let's go to the party, blah, blah, blah. And we actually ended up going to Jobber's party. We met him. He set up a nice VIP nyana for us. There wasn't really a VIP, but he made a plan.
Rider?
No, we bought and whatever support. You know what I mean? And then at the end of the day, we headed out.
There's too many artists. That's the problem.
I got his number and like from that night, and I hit him up and I said, dude, we can make this like a big record, but we're going to have to rearrange it. We're going to have to get back into studio. We're going to have to at least do this and then a third. And I said, we need to add a female vocal because this, like people, from what my experience is, will resonate more when there's something like this. And Kamu she was a student who went to Boston, who liked dancing. You understand what I mean? She was studying journalism, whatever. I actually knew her dad. I know her dad.
Oh yeah, her dad was dancing. Yeah.
No, Braoni Onishas. He was a technical guy. Go FM.
Wow.
Onishas.
I know Onishas.
That's Kamu's dad.
You lie.
So I know Braoni, who's Onishas. As a brafan me. Oni comes to the studio. Likam. Say. Onishas. I'm catching up with Oni. They said, this is my daughter. I said, me bra. I'm feeling like shit. I'm like, I must be getting really old. I'm like, dude, so that's how it was. And he was right there when she was recording and all of these things.
That's beautiful.
And then, the rest, as they say, is history. So that's what I'm saying.
Did Jobber trust you first time out?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. He was just like, keep it.
And then after that, it was...
You know what I mean?
Game over. And so, Sergio, do you think we'll ever get rap dads? Going back to TV.
Rap dads.
Because I know that back then you weren't a father when you actually produced.
Yeah.
Was it you and Smacks? I don't know who.
It was myself and a gentleman called Greg Mtanji.
Okay,
Yeah.
Would you guys ever come back and do it?
Look, we commissioned, like it was, we obviously ideated it and it got commissioned by what was then Fuzu M.
Yeah.
So Mnet sits with the rights. If I guess we'll have to give the right people the call and see if they're willing to resuscitate it. I think
if there are new dads in hip hop.
Look, there's definitely new dads. At that time, there were dads who were hiding kids.
Yeah. Siangaba.
At that time, dads were like, not me. And let me tell you the funny thing about Rap Dads. So Ricky Rick was supposed to be on Rap Dads. It was Mai, El Tido, Reason, and Ricky. And Ricky said, oh, you do the show, whatever, and he wanted this amount of money, whatever, which we then justified. So the thing with production is, the more, like, they'll give you a budget. The more the talent wants budget, it comes out of the production budget.
Yeah.
You understand? So we're sitting there saying, shit, is it going to come out of the cameraman? Like, who are we going to pay? So essentially we end up saying, okay, fine, Ricky will give, but Ricky says, okay, I also want a car.
What?
And I said, okay, cool. So I hollered at some people. Actually, I knew a guy called Brian Olsen, who was then the VP of General Motors Africa. And he was an American guy, General Motors Africa. And I said, Brian, I actually called him up through, I think it was Art or someone. You know what I mean? And we met with Brian. When we met with Brian, it was the 23rd of December.
Hey, almost Christmas.
Yes, that was the day before Christmas Eve. So we meet at General Motors. There's nobody. The whole office is empty. Right? And I'm like, dude, I need to see you because I need to get you to ink this thing and give me Chevy Trailblazers, But now I can't get one for Ricky and not get one for everybody else. I have to get 4 of them because I'm starting production. You know what I mean? And I need to get them at least for a year and say everybody must have. So what Ricky's doing is benefiting everybody. It's Bodmess. You know Bodmess?
Yeah.
What you do on the
Brackets
left?
of division.
Yeah. What you do on the right?
Multiplication. Addition and subtraction.
I'm failing.
You understand? So we end up doing this. I'm with Brian Olsen in this thing, and I think it was at the time, and we're sitting in the boardroom at Chevy, and I'm like, dude, I'm presenting, I'm putting out the laptop. I'm like, my brother, this was going. I'm like, yo, we're gonna have to do this. And I had a good relationship with GM because I had helped them out with another campaign, blah, blah, blah. And so he was looking at me like, are you guilt tripping me? And I was like, my brother, if there's ever a time I'm going to guilt trip you and I'm going to use the relationship as now. Brian said, okay, cool. Let's sign it here. Let's get the paperwork drafted. But the only time we can sign it is like 15th of Jan when everybody comes back. But we'll get the paperwork drafted and then we'll have an agreement. We said, okay, Chevy Trail Blazers, black ones for all the boys, tinted windows, black rims, everything. He said, okay. I said, okay. We shake.
Say what?
What happened?
Ricky says,
Off.
yeah, actually, I can't do it. Ricky, I mean, it's not the money. We got you the money. You wanted the car. We got you the car.
What do you want?
What do you want?
He wants to be the only one on the show.
So we were like, you know what, like, and the thing is like, this was Ricky's deal. You know what I mean? So, you know, not to say anything else about any of the other like rap dads, but I mean, that was his deal.
Yeah.
You know, he's the one who said he wanted a car. So we, you know, it's just that we worked everything in. And going back and saying, no, we actually don't need one car. We need one car less. We need 3 now and whatever. It's going to be like, guys, what are we doing? So I actually just said, bro, let's just cancel it. And yeah, so we might get, I think, like I say, Mnet lies, the IP lies with Mnet.
Yeah.
If they want to, they will.
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea.
Would you want to work on it again? I think.
I'd love to produce it again. I think, and especially because, look, reality shows are a dime a dozen now. You know what I mean? So it's like, whatever. I mean, they could give it to anybody who does reality and they could kill it.
Sure.
And back then, reality was like there were only like specific people doing reality. You know, parental advisory. Like there were only a specific people. And Rap Dad was the first show that was on Vuzu Amp, which was the HD version of Vuzu.
Straight up. They used it to launch it.
Yeah, they used Rap Dads and the one with Tallest Mo and Les and whatever, that was like Real Husbands or whatever.
Yeah.
That show.
Yeah.
So there's those 2 shows that were the flagship shows for that station. And I'm telling you, that was probably the worst experience of my life. Because QC was kicking everybody's ass. Not just us. No, not just us. As like people were rendering. Everybody, dog, who was accepting. Because it was HD, the formats were different, everything. We were submitting 2 days before. Guys we're giving guys 2-liter Cokes there to put us.
Alright, so before we go game over with JR, we also got to get quizzical with the brother. So Scoop has the questions for us, and he's obviously going to find out whether Jay really knows his hip hop. He's already tired.
Okay, so this is I must who said this is the first one.
But don't do the melody. Just
No.
Yeah.
This one's too easy.
But just read it like you're reading a
I'm gonna Cosmo. Oh. When I rap, I overflow. And my swag is on
MT.
Yabona ke leya namfana. Okay, you got that one. Qing. Paper planes on the runway, let it burn. Take a cig, going one way.
AKA.
No.
Paper planes on the run. Yanga.
You bastard! You fucking bastard! Okay, let's go with another one. I can never share my location. Judging from the trees, you can tell us the creation. Touchdown from Wakanda, like the African Renaissance.
Come on. Black
The
Panther.
third one's always a bit
Come on,
harder.
Black Panther.
The
Come
third one's
on.
always a bit harder.
share my
I can never share my location. Judging from the trees, you can tell us the creation. Touchdown from Wakanda, like the African Renaissance. Don't even rhyme.
I just have a problem with the grammar.
Yeah, it's a lot of.
Yeah, no, there's an error there.
There is an error.
You can tell us creation.
The creation, yeah.
Yeah, so I wouldn't know that because the grammar is incorrect.
Oh, Jay's using a loophole.
I'm just saying.
He's using a loophole. Okay, come on, Black Panther, you've got it in you.
I
Come
can't
on.
hear you, Dimples.
Come on.
Okay.
Come on.
Okay, we'll pass that one. I don't know
pass
who
that
that
one.
one is. Do you know who it is?
I can give you the answer right now,
Who is
but
it?
I would have never guessed it as well. Anati Vacation.
Oh, okay.
Didn't you executive produce that one as well?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
But Anati played me his new album.
Where is Anatsi? Where did you find him?
I speak to Anati all the time. I
Yeah.
actually speak quite often.
Yeah.
Yo, I've been asking Dimples for so long.
in
Like,
Cape
please
Town.
go and fetch that guy. He needs to
in
come
Cape Town.
back.
Yeah, he's in Cape Town.
Enjoying
He's relaxed.
Yeah.
He's got a
Enjoying.
brilliant view of
And studio.
something and studio. He's got a studio in the
girlfriend.
cinema and everything. So he's doing well. I mean, he played me like Guys, Anati is something else.
It's
Like,
something
let me
else,
tell you,
bro.
like, you don't deserve.
We don't deserve Anati.
You don't. And I'm not even afraid to say that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. They'll write in the comments there. And, South Africans don't deserve Anati. It's over.
Support hype.
Remember that season? Oh no.
Oh my goodness, start over.
Oh,
Those are the questions
That was
they're
it.
done.
Is
I'm
that
now
it?
reading Cosmo's messages.
Baby, bengicela send my notes.
I mean, is this guy serious?
No, it went by accident. I really flipped by accident. Like, how am I nudes? Yeah, send my nudes, Cosmo.
To my person. Not to you. Oh,
So is it my turn now?
Yes, it is, sir.
yes. All
Okay.
right. So we
Okay,
got.
wait.
Wait,
I need
Vishu's
to
got to
go
get 30 seconds on the clock.
Oh, my bad.
He's really going to ask. You really prepared questions for us?
No, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with these questions.
You're supposed to explain what's on the card. We have to guess it. It's 30
Oh,
seconds.
is it like charades?
It's 30 seconds. Have you never played 30 seconds?
Oh, it's like charades.
Wow, it's 30 seconds.
Sorry, don't know that one. No charades.
Yeah,
Come on to go, eh?
Okay. All right. He's he's a really good rapper, but he works with Costa Titch.
Phantom
Phantom
Steez.
Yes. I think he's from Durban, but he's got a song with that guy who wrote Ari Yang. They did a new song now.
Chopper. Also on Chopper.
Okay, cool. They do parties. Their
Major
name
League.
is Double. It's Double.
Until.
Yes.
Oh, damn.
And he's a DJ on YFM. We call him Diba.
Oh, angazi my tip.
Diba.
From the east.
Oh, Zendi.
Yes, well done.
Is that it?
Yeah.
And we got it in
Guys, let me tell you, I've
time.
never lost a 30 seconds game.
Really?
Never ever in my life.
We should have had a 30 seconds right here
You
for
should
him.
have. Guys,
But right
I'm
now,
really good.
it is.
Game.
We've taken too long with the interview, but it wasn't too long. It was necessary, right?
Yeah, we could talk forever with Jay.
I think we should do it
That's the
again.
thing.
We definitely need to have a part 2 with you, bro.
Yeah, I think so. But everyone who says this, it's always like after 2 years.
I know,
Remember
I
that
thought
part
it-
2 we said we're going to do?
Not us, dog.
I actually didn't want to do this show. But
he got a call from me.
Because I was like, because the show for me is like, it's an embodiment of what is missing in SA, which is like a general commentary on the culture. You know what I mean? From people with voices who like their voices are respected. You know, they say the game is not to be told, you know,
Sure.
but Kanabar is stolikwa.
Stolikwa.
So the game I tolikwa as well. You know what I mean? And when you're dealing with guys, veterans who come with scars from the game, you know, and they're telling you and sharing ideas and sharing ideals with you. You know what I mean? You got VG here sitting from Universal. You know what I mean? You got Scoop, years of wisdom. You know what I mean? Television producer, writer. You know what I mean? Fashionista. You know, Scoop, dude, this guy did Street Journal. You understand what that is for the culture?
We used to tune into
Give
the
me.
Guys, you're gonna make me cry. Can you just give to Noni now? Go to Noni now.
And then you've got Cosmo. But I'm just saying.
Say what?
That's verbal gender-based violence.
Jay.
No. But I don't like, so I mean, then you've got the thing about Noni is Noni, like years ago, said to me like she wants to quit her job at
Absa.
I'll never forgive
And
her.
I remember that very well. And it was me and Cooley, I think. She was actually, I want to become a DJ.
Cooley made me become a DJ.
Yes.
Cooley's the reason I'm a DJ.
Yes. You told us first, you said you want to quit your job and become a DJ. I mean, if that's not resilience, I don't know what is.
That's true.
You're leaving a comfortable job,
With
good
benefits,
salary,
everything.
a CA, benefits, medical aid, and everything. For this, if you're listening to these people here with like years of experience and real experience, and you're not listening and you're not taking it in, then I don't know what more you want.
Thank you, Papa.
Yeah.
You don't deserve us like you don't deserve Anati.
No, Anati, you seriously don't.
Yo, that's very awesome to hear that you still talk to him and that he's in good spirits. So shout outs to you, JJ, man. We really appreciate
It's not
you
coming
coming
anytime soon.
through. Not anytime.
No,
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
not expecting it.
I guess I just have to
Just-
put a disclaimer out there that it's not coming anytime soon. But he did play me some records,
It's taking his time.
which like I will.
After years, I'll give him the time he needs. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Nice one.
Yeah.
Thank you so much,
Thanks,
JJ.
guys.
Appreciate you. Guys want to just close it up? Say anything for the last time?
Just want to say thank you so much for taking my call, Jay.
Yeah.
You know, you've been blue ticking me for years, but I appreciate the fact that you actually paid attention this time. And yeah, man, keep on pushing, keep on working. And I think what I love the most is that you've always got an eye and an ear for what's next and for music and for talent, and continue to do that for the culture, for Black business, because I think that's what we need. And yeah, man, we appreciate you. Keep pushing.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Papa.
Vigi, he's waiting for you.
I know he knows, Papa.
Give me my flowers.
Yeah, give me his
please.
fucking flowers now.
He wants them
Don't call me
today.
flowers.
Papa,
man.
get our phone.
Yeah, niggas in Joburg like to give you your flowers on call.